Hello, students. Here I am before you with a poem from your NCERT syllabus, and the name of the poem is the Ball Poem. And it's a beautiful poem, a very simple, but telling you about the funda of life. It's written by John Berryman, and he's a wonderful writer. What thoughts he's given to this? First of all, I will introduce you to the poem. So in this poem, John Berryman tells us about our reactions, about our personal reactions of some materialistic loss, of some emotional loss. A boy, a young man, just loses his ball, and he's very upset about it. Of course, we all know that the ball doesn't cost much, nor is it difficult to buy another ball. Why then is the boy so upset? The reason is that he's sentimentally attached to the ball. He has sentimental values. It is his possession. Maybe he has other toys, but he is more attached to this particular thing, which he loses ultimately. So let us see the poem to see what the poet thinks has been lost. It's not just a ball. The ball is representing a feeling. So I'm reading out the first line. Pay attention, please. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? See, he can't do anything. It has been proclaimed in the first line that he has lost his ball. He can see, he can feel the ball going away from him. And here, John Berryman is actually witnessing it. He's witnessing it. And he says in the next line, I saw it go. Now, I is referring to the poet, and it is referring to the ball, which is going away. And the boy can sense that he will never, ever recover the ball. And he sees it from a distance, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. This is the movement of the ball, merrily bouncing. These two words actually depict the personality of the ball. The poet John Berryman has given the ball a personality. Happily, the ball is bouncing down the street. And maybe the street is on a decline. That's why it is bouncing and going away from the ball. The boy cannot catch it. It is too far away. And he knows at a certain distance, there is the seawater. Maybe it's a harbor area. And he says, the boy can feel that ball being lost forever. And then he sees with his eyes, it is bouncing over the parapet, and there it lands in the water. Okay, the line is written very clearly, there it is in the water. Now, the poet comes up with one solid opinion. No use to say, oh, oh, there are other balls. He says, no use to say, oh, there are other balls. He says, I cannot go to the boy and tell him, forget that ball, it is lost. You can buy another one. Because he can see the sentiments, the sufferings, the sadness, the possessiveness of that boy, the way he's standing. He says, an ultimate shaking of grief fixes the boy. Now, this word fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down. What is he staring at, the boy? The boy is staring at the ball. His eyes are fixed on that. He knows he's lost it. He's feeling bad about it. He's feeling sad about it. It's a shock for him. But he's helpless. He cannot catch the ball, get it back. And he's standing there motionless without moving his part of the bodies. Anyone, it's all fixed as if he's staring at the ball just like a statue. So here we find that the boy is feeling the pangs of separation, the pangs of separation from his prized possession. That is the ball he used to play with every day. The next lines tell, all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. That means daily he used to come with that particular ball, play with it, and take it right back. But today was another day. It was a different day, when he would be going back without his favorite ball. He is accepting that loss. He is accepting that tolerance. He is accepting that sufferings inside him. He's quite upset, as we can see. The ruminations of that boy seem to be interfered with now. No longer he's happy. So when the poet, John Berryman, sees all this, he relates an ultimate grief. He says, his ball went. He's verifying it, that the ball is lost from the boy now. They're both away from each other. Now he says another line. He says, I would not intrude on him. I would not intrude on him. The poet says this because he does not want to intervene in the natural process of learning. Nobody's telling the boy, he's just learning from the circumstances that he is facing. He wants the boy to learn the meaning of the loss. Besides, he doesn't offer him money. Who's the he? John Berryman. Because another ball, even if it's more expensive, even if it's more pretty, beautiful to look at, is worthless. Because that possessiveness is not with the new ball, it is with the everyday ball which he played with. He says, a dime a dozen, another ball. A dime means बच्चों के 10 cents US currency में 10 cents is 1 dime. Remember that? In the US currency. This is 1 dime, 10 cents, and we can buy another ball, but it is worthless. He says that ball has no worth. There's no point. Because here, the poet Jerry Berryman wants the boy to understand. He wants the boy to digest that loss. Kyunki here, he's feeling that he was less responsible. He was less responsible. That is why he suffered the loss. If he had been more responsible, maybe he would not have suffered the loss. Okay, that possession. He says, the poet says, people will take balls and balls will be lost again, little boy. And no one can buy a ball back because money is external. It does not count. It has no value when the sentiments come in. When you are valuing your possessions, you may get a better one, but then it has no value for you. So money is external at this time. He's learning. Now these words are exactly what I want you to understand. Possessions means belongings. And when you lose your possessions, that is the time you feel the loss, you feel the sadness. How to cover it? It's only when you fall down, you remember what it is to stand up again, face the world with more responsibilities. He's learning, he says, and well behind his desperate eyes. Desperate eyes means helpless eyes. He's watching the ball, but his eyes cannot help him to recover the ball. And there's one beautiful word used by John Berryman, and that is the epistemology. The epistemology of loss. It means understanding what you were lost. Feeling it in your heart, feeling it in your mind, and suffering internally. If you fall down, then you know you have to stand up again. And every man in his life has to suffer somewhere and take that sufferings as his lack of responsibility. That is why the loss comes. When you are responsible, you don't suffer so much. But when you're irresponsible and careless, that is the time you suffer. And that suffering, John Berryman is asking us to recover from, to recoup, learn it. It's a lesson of life, which has to be learned. Now, one thing more I want to bring to your notice, and it is very, very important. That is the central idea of this ball poem, that loss. The central idea of the poem is that life comprises of ups and downs. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. One cannot keep on complaining about the losses we suffer forever, because it will lead us nowhere. It will lead us nowhere, and nobody has time to listen so much. So instead of complaining in life, we should experience this sadness, this loss, and learn that lesson in life. He loved the ball, and the time that he played with it was valuable for him. Now, no other ball will compensate for that time and that value. Okay, even if he buys 2 balls, he will not be happy. He wanted that particular ball, which was his favorite. So the central idea is one will experience materialistic and emotional loss, and this can only be overcome by an optimistic approach. We have to learn to recover mentally and physically. See, this is life. So please understand what John Berryman is telling us about the ball poem and the particular lesson that he is trying to teach us. Losing is an experience, and gaining is an experience. Losing is an experience, and gaining is an experience. So thank you all very much. And we meet again sometimes